I feel like it would have been in me to do something for sure, but I was too anxious, afraid of what people would think of me. Self-esteem was very, very low when I was younger, so that's why that would have held me back in school. That would have held me back when I went to college. So I think I would have eventually done something, but my son just put that urgency on it.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't letting him grow up and fucking see me being known, you know, that type of way. So that's the urgency was put on it. It's kind of like now with me snapping the fucking bicep, like I was already kind of working through a lot of issues that I might have had from childhood, traumas or whatever. We all have traumas, and I was doing it, but I wasn't doing it to the extent I'm doing it now. Like now I'm reading shit. Now I'm listening to podcasts. Do you know what I mean? Whereas it was before, it was like, oh, I'm doing a session a week with James. He's my therapist, and that was it. I wasn't really thinking about it too much, but now I'm just locked into that. And the amount of progression I've made in how I speak and how much lower my anxiety. Like I reckon probably before I'd done this injury, I don't think I would have come here today.
Really?
I probably would have said no to it. Probably, yeah. Nothing against you. It's obviously it's just on me. Anxiety, do you know that type of way?
100%.
Yeah. So think about how much progression I've made just in that little time.
8 weeks, is it? 8 weeks injury. Yeah. Some jump.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm delighted this happened nearly. Yeah. I've been able to make strides in other areas. What was that point we were speaking about there just before? We went off on another tangent.
It always happens. But I wanted to ask you, and again, like this isn't anything, whatever, but like if I was to look at you, I would never think you're someone who struggles with self-esteem issues, or like anyone who goes into your Instagram, you're like, right, here's this fella, successful coaching business, he's in good shape, all this sort of stuff. Like from the outside looking in, you would never believe someone like you might have low confidence. Where does, well, you don't have to go into too much detail, like, but at what point in your life did you recognise that was an issue for you? And
again, this is all stuff we've spoken about, and it's been really important to speak about is when and why. Probably won't get into why. Not that it's this big massive thing, but just probably open a can of worms and then whatever. But
it doesn't have to be massive. It could be massive to you.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, true. But I think it was about 15 when I started noticing. I was very conscious. I didn't notice then. I didn't be like, oh jeez, what the fuck
looking
is
back
this?
you can see that.
I think it was about 15, man. So what's that, second or third year? Something like that. And then when I started going to the gym, when you start going to the gym when you're already very self-conscious, you know yourself, when you're obviously in very good shape now, and with David, like you're kind of constantly looking at yourself. So
100%.
If you start with the gym, and obviously the gym has helped me as well, get rid of that. But your body image, then your standards get higher and higher. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if you start getting into good shape, you know, you're going to start comparing yourself to people that are in better shape. Whereas if you looked at your physique now, when you were 15, you'd be fucking delighted.
Yeah.
Whereas now you're like, I want to get to that next level.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking to what's next.
But yeah, no, a lot of people say that to me. They wouldn't expect that from me. But where did it come from? Just as I said, I probably won't get into why, but it was about 15, and then it just got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And that's where the anxiety comes from then.
Just ask Lee, like, what way did the anxiety show for you at that age? You mentioned like you'd be kind of isolating yourself, or you'd have friends but wouldn't be like too social at.
Yeah, exactly. So I was very different. I was always very different. Like all I was doing was going to the gym. And I was just training. I'd go to the gym about 12 o'clock, leave school at 12 o'clock, go to the gym. Yeah. And then at the time there was a sauna and steam room in the Carlo. Do you know the Carlo gym?
Yeah.
And I'd go there for an hour. So then my parents wouldn't even know that I went to the gym.
Right.
I remember my ma saying at one time, you're not using that gym membership, I paid it for the year. And I was like, I am, like. But where did it show up? Just, I remember when I'd meet new people, like, and again, this is one of the reasons why it would have been hard for me to do this. Like, I'd get like a lump in my throat. And like my heart would be going mad fast. And that still happens sometimes as well.
Big time.
I'm still working through that, like. But meeting new people was very difficult for me. Just with the anxiety I had, for sure, very, very difficult. Do you also have anything like that now?
I can relate to
Yeah?
Definitely. 100%, yeah. What got you interested in, you mentioned like doing therapy and exploring like trauma and those sort of things, which is like real popular nowadays, which I think is a good thing, but like especially for men, and the men who look like you and are in that space, you probably think, God, that's a real masculine environment, you know, where men don't do those things, right? What got you into it?
I think there's breaking points in everyone's. It's like kind of moments in everyone's life where, you know, they've had enough. But I think for me, it's just progression. You know I can't unlock the next level in business if I don't sort my own shit out. I've gotten to a certain level. I'm not going to go to the next level going around anxious all the time. It's not going to happen. So I always knew I'd eventually like sort it out. But again, I suppose doing the injury was then just urgency on, right, I can't go to the gym now. How can I can't not progress in some way. I need to be able to progress in different ways. And because obviously I went from photo shoot, lean, biggest I ever was, prep to tear my bicep and not being able to train at all. Like I needed a focus, so I just put my focus into that. It's just progressing for me. I need like different areas to progress all the time. What got you started the podcast? Because obviously you were saying you were quite nervous in the first one. Like that must have been very hard. Like,
it's fucking. If it wasn't for Adam, I wouldn't do anything like this. If it wasn't for Adam, I'd probably still be working in Nando's or whatever I was doing beforehand.
Could have done it a favour. Which one?
The one Andrew Street, I think it's called, just off Grafton Street. Yeah. The one in town.
So you just don't have jobs anymore. You're just doing this.
No, we don't make any money off this. We work full time. So
work online.
The goal obviously is
to transition to this.
That'd be nice.
Point, yeah. Or back to Nando's.
Back to Nando's
discounts.
Plan A, man. No plan B.
That's it. Well, no, it's like anything else in life, really, isn't it? It's like, I think everyone needs a support network. I'm lucky enough that my support network is my twin brother that I live with and grew up with and spent most of my life beside.
Class.
Other people find that in relationships, or maybe like even having a child, I'm sure it's a support network in its own way.
Yeah, man.
And just keeping it accountable and showing up. But I think that point you make about progression is such a big one, and something that's it's not taken as seriously as it should. In terms of like just having a focus and something to work towards makes the rest of life so much easier to deal with. Because like if you haven't got some purpose or something that's like
we need it.
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise life is just miserable and there's nothing else to do.
I know a lot of people that don't have progression and they're going out on the weekends and they're drugs and whatever. Obviously we all know people that do it, but you can easily channel that to like they're just missing something. They need something. Do you know what I mean? And all they know is weekend drink and weekend drugs, but you can change that. Do you know what I mean? You can change that and get that buzz from somewhere else, progression or whatever it might be. But you ever done therapy or anything like that before, no?
I do, weekly, yeah. I was going to ask, because it's something that, well, I think the last time we done it was before Christmas. But going through counselling, like, do you ever just sit there and be like, am I just fucking broken? Like, is there just something wrong with me that like other people don't have to deal with?
I always think that, man, I've thought that my whole life.
It's madness, isn't it? Like, because like I said, I'd look at you, never think it. Dave wouldn't think it. Adam wouldn't think it. And in each and every one of your heads, you all have this little battle going on, whether it's looking in the mirror or shit going on in your life. That
now, after I've been speaking to my therapist, like he's more than a therapist, lad. He doesn't just sit there and fucking say nothing. Like he's a ball of knowledge, man. And man, the amount I've learned off him already, I'm just going to keep going with him for as long as I can. But like, I've lost my train of thought there.
No, you're all good.
What was?
Saying your therapist was like a ball of knowledge and more than just doesn't just sit there and listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like everyone from childhood has trauma. Like your man, that no matter what, like no matter how good they are, there's gonna be trauma.
Yeah.
And you create an image of yourself from like 1 to 4. So whatever image that is, like so if you like even my therapist was saying like, let's say your man that break up when you're 1, you can't remember that, but that creates a lot of trauma. There's sadness in the house, like the breakup alone, like the two people that are supposed to be there, every day. Aren't together anymore. They're separate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that creates you feel like you're not good enough then. And people don't even realise they have these traumas. Again, I don't fucking know everything. I'm just saying what this therapist has been saying to me, but everything he's been saying has been making a lot of sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
100%. So just to your point, like Lee, you were saying, it's mad that you might look at me and now that I've had trauma or whatever, or anxiety or whatever, but I think everyone does. I think everyone does to a certain extent. Even the most confident people, like they could deal with dealing with some shit, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah, big time. Even like some of I was thinking this recently, there's like, almost feels like, and it's a good thing, I think, like, there's a movement now towards, let's say, men or masculine figures who are being more open about. The two that come to mind for me is Chris Bumstead, who's Mr. won Mr. Olympia like last 5 years in a row, classic physique, and Tom Aspinall, who won the UFC sort of heavyweight interim championship, whatever else. But like both of those lads, obviously Tom Aspinall's potentially number 1 heavyweight on the planet, like absolute monster, and then Chris Bumstead, like unbelievable. If you've never seen his body, like just Google him, he looks unbelievable. Looks like he's carved from stone. It's crazy, right? And both of them are so open about, like Tom Aspinall speaks about how he'd just be nervous going into fights, how he'd just be scared getting in there. Chris Bumstead speaks about how he feels about his relationship with like his body and like anxiety and like these things that he struggles with as well. And it's like, I think this is the first time that I can remember anyways where there's men who are at the top of whatever they do and are actually open about sharing the shit that they go through and the doubts and insecurities that they have. And hopefully that's a step in the right direction for like young kids now who are watching them and coming up and opening up another door for conversations.
I think it's just as well, like it's just how the world goes around. Like obviously men are men, women are women, so I think there's a long way to go before a lot of men feel comfortable talking about it. But this stuff helps, but I think even like it's difficult to admit, isn't it? Even like for us, it's hard to admit. Like I don't really anymore because I've spoken about it so much now. But I definitely understand. Even seeing people like Tom Aspinall and all, and I think there's a ways to go before it becomes like not taboo, if you get me. For men to just be like, yeah, no, I do that. Like that's just normal. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely not normal yet. Do you know what I mean? It's not normalised yet. No. Hopefully it will be though. As I said, I think everyone can use it.
Definitely. I wanted to ask you as well though, just obviously like that sort of gym world is very like masculine. Like there's a lot of ego and testosterone and everything else flying about. Being as open as you are in that sort of just being vocal about your own struggles and stuff like that, was there like an extra challenge to like confronting these things and going to therapy because you're Sam Shortall, the online coach, and you work in the fitness industry, and what will they say, or how might this impact my reputation? Or was it always just something you're like comfortable being yourself and exploring those things?
Harder is in for me to do it or to say that I do it?
Both.
Well, it's obviously very hard for me to do because I didn't do it for how many years? And I knew I needed to.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I knew I needed to fix something anyway. I remember I'd done something when I was like 18 or something like that, but like only 3 sessions and I was like, nah, fuck this.
It doesn't work.
I would say no in the sense of harder to kind of admit it, definitely not, because I know that if people can relate to you, it's going to be better for your brand. That's not why I'm talking about this stuff though. I'm just ready to talk about it now. More so just, again, if you go on my Instagram and look 6 months ago, you won't find any videos of me.
I was going to say, like for years it was just transformations.
Exactly.
Picture.
And the reason why is, and again, this is to your point, nobody knows. Nobody kind of really knew me, and that's the way I wanted to keep it.
Yes.
I wasn't ready to kind of start speaking about this stuff and talking about anxiety and self-esteem and all. I just didn't have. I wouldn't even know how to speak in front of a camera.
Yeah.
6 months ago, no. I would have been out of breath. I would have been
second guessing yourself.
Scared of what people are how are they gonna view me then? What lens are they looking at me?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what. I didn't really have any identity with myself, so I was worried what they're gonna think. Then, do you get me? Very worried about what people would think. I don't care anymore though. It's mad. You can. So anyone kind of listen to this, if that's you, you can definitely change it for sure. But therapy is needed. It's mad how powerful just. Not even talking about it, right, but more so finding out why you have them issues. There's always going to be a reason. If you sit down and kind of peel the layers of the onion back, you'll find why. And it's only then when you find why can you actually then start to change it. Do you know what I mean? Even just talking about it allows you, because you understand it, to start to change it. But it shows up in different ways for some people. Like some people just get mad depressed, anxiety. Like I remember my parent used to say to me, like, "Oh, I feel mad anxious." I didn't even know what it was. Up until it was 6 months ago, I didn't even know what anxiety was. I couldn't fathom how does that feel like.
Yeah.